Hi, and welcome to another episode of From Surviving to Thriving. This is the continuation of our discussion about COVID. I really thought it was important for us to, now that we've talked to Dr. Baker, now that we've talked to the Young family, to talk again with Levada. She does work for the Arizona Department of Health Services. However, she is not their official representative. So please note that she is not speaking on behalf of the department. However, she does have a lot of tips and tools to help us get connected to the COVID-19 vaccine, not only in Maricopa County in Arizona, but we give you some tips and tools for getting connected in your neck of the woods. And I wanted to revisit my conversation with Tandy Myles. I know we've seen Tandy twice already. This is our third time. However, she's been vaccinated, not just the one time, she's had her second vaccination. And I wanted us and you to hear from someone who's had both. What she went through, any symptoms she might have had, everything. This is a great conversation to give you more information as you cogitate whether or not you are going to get vaccinated. My goal is to ensure that you have all of the facts. So keep listening, get in the chat room. I'll meet you in the chat room so that we can talk more about the COVID-19 vaccine. Listen, remember, this is pre-recorded. As you've noticed, I have had some technical difficulties, and every day the information changes. So this has been pre-recorded, but I am in the chat room with you talking about the vaccine and trying to help answer any questions that you might have. Enjoy tonight's episode. Good afternoon, Levada Coker. Glad to have you back with us today.
Yes, it's very nice being here. Very nice being here.
We are continuing this conversation about the vaccine. I know the disclaimer, you are speaking on behalf of yourself and not the department that you work for. So we recognize that these are your thoughts and your opinions, and that nobody should be writing the Department of Health saying that I heard thus and so, because these are your thoughts and your opinions.
Yes.
But
and
we do.
Anything I say, you should be able to find it on the Arizona Department of Health Services website or the CDC website.
Wonderful. So we've heard a lot of talk about the vaccine. We have been several weeks into the dissemination of the vaccine in the state of Arizona. But I've actually had someone tell me directly, they didn't even know how to start when it came to getting signed up for the vaccine or anything. How does normal Joe Blow anybody first get information on how to get vaccinated?
Again, I'm going to move you towards the azdhs.gov website. As soon as you go on the website, on the front page, it says find a vaccine. You click on that and it tells you where you can go. It tells you any information about you need to know about the vaccine. And then if you are in that group where you can register, you should be able to register for it. But I have to tell you, there are a lot of challenges because a lot of people are trying to get registered. So it may take you a few tries, but if you go on the AZDHS website, you should be able to find where you can get a vaccine.
And as someone who has gone to the website, who has endeavored to get registered, and who did successfully get registered, I will let everyone know it didn't work for me the first time. I got so far, had to do it again, got so far, had to do it again. And there is a questionnaire. So if you are uncertain as to whether or not you are in the category of persons who are eligible for the vaccine, you're going to have to fill out a questionnaire, and it will let you know if you are in the right category or not. So even if you're uncertain, if you're 1A, 1B, 1C, and then into the 2s, that questionnaire will help you. Is that correct, Sister Cole?
That is absolutely correct. It will let you know whether you're eligible or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so currently they're in 1B. Which are teachers, I believe. It's still everybody who's in 1A. It's for persons who are 65 and above. Is that correct?
Yes, and that is for if you live in, well, that is for the state farm location, and then on February 1st, Phoenix Municipal Stadium will be opening up. Those two are for 65 and under. Now, for the other 15 counties, Maricopa County and all the others, check your website if you live in those counties, because they may not be doing the 65 and up yet.
And I was going to say, I looked at both the Arizona State Department of Health Services, addhs.gov website. I also went into the maricopa.gov website, and that's where I saw Maricopa currently, as of this taping, let's be clear, as of this taping, was not taking 65 or over, but there are some qualifications if you fit what their criteria are. So I would encourage people to still look at maricopa.gov because you might actually qualify even though you are not 75 or over, because they're still looking at 75 or over.
Right, absolutely. I would say if you're 65 and up, again, check the website, because one of the things that, and you're right, Maricopa County website, if you live in Pinal County, because there's some people live in Pinal County also. If you live in any of those counties, check the website all the time, because this situation is so fluid. Like you said, as of this taping, everything I'm saying is correct. But as of tonight, it could all change, because it's kind of like the testing. Remember when we first talked, no one could find a place to get testing. Now you can go anywhere you want to get testing. It's the same thing with the vaccination. It's the beginning of the rollout. There's issues with the amount of vaccines that we have, but it's changing fluidly. So check the website frequently if you have not been able to get one.
And because some of you are watching and you are not in the state of Arizona, or you are not in Maricopa County, Google COVID-19 vaccine in my area. Just that simple, plain statement is going to bring up a website that will allow you to do the things that we're talking about. In the state of Arizona, even if you are not 65 and older, there are some other qualifying factors. If you are an essential worker, if you have an underlying health condition, those are questions that they ask that might get you in line to get the vaccine. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. And there's some areas I've heard on the news, and I've heard some conversation. There's some other states that have gone through 1A and 1B, and they might be at 1C. So again, you're absolutely right. Check the website to see where exactly you might fall in that category. I also saw on the news last night that they did some special things for the people that have went through, it just went off my head. The Jews that got when they got attacked. Oh God, what are those people that got attacked? The Jews.
Holocaust
survivors in Arizona were able to get vaccinations, because of course they're above 75, and they were having trouble getting into the website. And so the news did a story on them, on how they got all the Holocaust survivors that are living, and they all were able to get vaccinated. So again, if you don't fall into it right now, check the website, because no matter where you live, there may be a vaccination for you. I've also heard Pastor Stewart say that veterans can go on the base. You told me your mom, got that. So again, depending on your group, check the website to see if there are places for you, or call your normal contact and see if they're giving out vaccinations.
That's right. My mother did get vaccinated. She actually went to the VA to get her vaccine. They contacted her, and she has not had any adverse reaction to getting the vaccine. Pastor did mention a couple of our members who went to Luke and were vaccinated. There was no wait, so we shouldn't think because you see or hear one thing that that's going to be your situation. Your situation might be unique. Pastor Stewart and I both have been able to schedule our getting vaccinated. I was able to because I do have an underlying health condition. So when I clicked that as yes, it allowed me to go ahead and get in line to get a vaccine. And here's the irony. I probably could have done that in 1A, but because I didn't even think to check,
Right.
I didn't think it would fit me, and therefore I did not try. Pastor
Right.
Stewart, because he is 65 and older, he is in that, and it took us several times to be able to get the schedule. So go to the website,
Right.
give it a chance. You never know where you fit and how
Right.
it might work for you. Now, the other question I have for you, Leveda, but even though it's a question, we hear we hear the president talking about 100 million or a million vaccines in 100 days, something very similar to that. Should we be concerned about the amount of vaccine that is available? And is there all the possibility, if we get a scheduled appointment, that our appointment might be canceled because Arizona runs out of the vaccine? And what should we do in light of those?
Right. Again, this is Leveda talking, but no, I don't think so. The vaccines the appointments that are available, vaccines are available for them. And if you've gotten your first vaccine, they have made stipulation that your second vaccine is available. So no, I don't believe that you should be concerned about the amount of vaccines. And I believe that as we move forward, more and more vaccines are going to become available, just like the testing. More and more vaccines are going to become available, and then there's going to be more places where you can get vaccines. So no, I don't believe, this is me talking, that we should be concerned. I believe that the vaccines, the appointments that have been made thus far should have the vaccine attached to it. If it ever does get to a point, you should know in enough time. It may be postponed, but it won't be canceled. So.
Yeah, I noticed when I was scheduling, because it gave me a couple of options of where I can get my vaccination done. And as I was clicking on the days, now listen, my appointment, and I did it the first day that they were open because I was looking for my husband. So I was on there the first day, which was this past Tuesday. Remember, this is pre-recorded, so this past Tuesday might be 2 weeks from now. So be mindful of that. But when the 1Bs actually opened was the day that I was trying to get it, and I couldn't get a date until February. So, don't think you're going to get same day
right,
for
right.
some of these appointments. But it sounds, and my hope is that they only allow the amount of appointments they have for the amount of vaccine.
Right.
Or do they allow appointments even though they're like, we've got vaccine to this date, but we're going to keep it open up until that date? Do the dates that correlate with the amount of vaccine the state currently has?
Yeah, because as you can see, because I think if you were, and again, this is recorded as of today, I was told and saw it on the news that February has already been full. Yeah. So they won't open up March until they know that those vaccines are there. So they're not going to set appointments with the hope that vaccines are going to be there. They're making sure that the vaccines are there because they don't want to postpone anyone.
So tell me if I get the vaccine today. So let's say I go and I get vaccinated today. Am I safe in my behavior? Can I relax my behavior before I get the second vaccine? Am I really taken care of and I can relax my behavior? Oh, I see you shaking your head. No.
Even though you get the first and the second vaccine, you still need to be can't say that word.
Vigilant.
Vigilant, yes. You need to wear your mask. You need to still be 6 feet apart. You still need to do those things because even though you have the vaccine and you're protected, it's kind of like the flu vaccine. It does not prevent you from getting it, but if you were to get it, the symptoms they say the symptoms will be less. So you still need to do everything that you're doing now.
And the current vaccine, because we keep hearing about this new strain We heard about it in England. We hear about it now. I heard on the news this morning that there are some football players for a college in the United States that have contracted it, that it is a more aggressive strain, that it is more contagious. Does this vaccine prevent, or is this new strain included in our current vaccine?
So what I've heard, not on the news and various other places where I get my information from, is that so far the vaccine should cover all strains so far. But again, everything is so new and everything is so fluid. Right now, they're thinking that everything is covered. Everything is covered.
What would you say to encourage someone who is nervous about getting vaccinated? How would you encourage them?
So I'll tell you my own personal story. When even working with Department of Health Services and in the pre-planning stages, we've been planning for this vaccine since day one. Mm-hmm. And in the pre-planning stages, I've been saying all along, Tuskegee, not me, not going to get the vaccine. Tuskegee experiment, heard of it, not me. And I, again, I work for the Department of Health Services. I'm hearing all of the science behind it and everything. And when the vaccine came, I was still saying, not me, not me. I'm not going to do it. And then my sister, who also, she works in Tucson, and she works for a healthcare area. And she, we have our Friday Zoom call every Friday night. And she says, oh, I got my shot today. And I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, they provided it for my work. And I said, oh, okay. And so then a week later, the opportunity came because, again, I work for Department of Health Services, for me to be able to get the vaccine. And I said, well, me and my sister came out of the same womb. She's fine. Maybe I should get it because I've been very fearful of getting COVID. And so I said, you know what? Let me go ahead. I'm trusting the science. I'm seeing many, many, many people get it and having very little side effects. And so I went ahead on this past Friday, again, this is pre-taping, this past Friday, and I got the first dose. So I want to encourage everybody to please get the vaccine. As soon as everybody gets vaccinated, then we can all start going to our new normal, which would be, it's kind of like the airport, after 9/11, things changed, but we got back to kind of like a normal thing. If once everybody gets vaccinated, then we'll get to our new normal. I would say, do your research, but there's nothing for you to be fearful from. Now, again, everybody reacts differently to vaccines. I've been hearing so many different people that had side effects, so many people that didn't. So you may go in and you may have a side effect, but I still would say go ahead and get the vaccine.
Yeah, in last week's discussion with Dr. Baker, he talked about that our immune system, to know it's working, once you get vaccinated, if you start to feel some of those flu-like symptoms, that is normal. That's your immune system kicking in as the vaccine makes your body respond so that you can have the antibodies necessary to fight the disease. So some of the stuff we constantly hear is that, oh, I got it and I didn't feel good. Amen. You may not feel good. That's, two thumbs up. That means it's working. So trying to dispel all of the myths, I know can be a lot for the Department of Health Services to do to help get people educated.
Yes, and it is hard, and that's why I said do your research. Do your research because there's two of them out there. There's the Pfizer and then the Moderna. Do your research. Once you get your appointment, research which one you'll be getting if the information is there, and then do your research on it so you'll know what to expect when you go in. Because there's a lot of data out there on what some of the side effects may be and what may happen and those type of things. But yeah, definitely do your research and be familiar with what you're going into. But again, I was one of the fearful ones, and I was the one that said, I'll wait, but I went ahead and decided to do it, and I'm glad I did for the first one. The second one will be coming in a month.
So you've already had your first
The
vaccination.
first one, yes.
And how did your body respond to that?
It's kind of funny. My arm, I was fine the first day, and the second day, this will be the third day. But this morning when I woke up, my arm was kind of more sore than what it had been in the past. And my sister said that on the third day, she couldn't even get off the couch. So I was expecting that's today, but I'm fine. So I have been fine so far. So again, the people that I've talked to, the people that I've worked with, the director who I've talked to, the first one, she had very minimal one, but the second one, she had a little bit more of a reaction. So it all depends on you, but I'm fine so far.
Right.
So far.
I have not heard of all the people that I know who've been vaccinated. I have not heard anything extraordinarily adverse.
Yes.
Can't get off the couch. That sounds pretty normal, and we shouldn't be
Right.
surprised of it when we aren't feeling well. That might be how our body is responding. And note, this is not injecting you with the disease.
Right.
It's injecting you with something that will help your body to create the antibody. So don't believe you're going to get the disease because you got the vaccine. That is a myth. Not true, not true, not true.
Yes.
So how do we know about getting our second dose of the vaccine?
So what I heard the director say on a press conference that if you're getting it at the stadium, before they would let you drive off. So if you got it at your first dose at the stadium, that you should be getting an email with the opportunity to schedule your second dose. But starting, I believe it was this past week, they give you your second appointment right there. So you won't even leave without getting your second appointment. So
yeah, I heard that on the news as well, that at the stadium, but that may not be the case if you get your vaccine somewhere else. Is that correct?
That's true. So I would just wait for the email because they have all your data. So they normally would send you an email saying, okay, it's time for your second dose. You can make your appointment at this time.
So it's not that when you get the email, it tells you when your second dose is going to be. It's hey, you've got this window. You need to schedule an appointment within that window, correct?
Yes, because they don't ever want to set an appointment for you because it may not be a convenient time for you. But they'll give you a window where you can, okay, this is the time you need to get your second dose. This is the time you need to make your appointment.
What happens if I miss the window of time for my second dose? So they say it's 22 days, I believe, for one of them, whatever the time frame is. If I miss the time frame, I'm assuming I've got to get in line and start all over.
I don't know the answer to that, and I don't want to give you the incorrect information. I can't imagine that you would have to start over, but I don't know the answer. But I can go to the website and let you know, and then you can share it with your audience later.
Okay. Well, I think that the takeaway is get your second dose.
Yes.
Because one dose is clearly, if there's 2 doses, 1 dose is not enough.
Right.
Clearly, that's just plain old common sense. That's not even Pastor Karen or Reverend Levada looking on a website. If you need 2 doses, get your second dose and make the time to get your second dose within the window that is allocated to you.
Yes, and that's definitely, everybody's been saying that you have to get your second dose. So please do that. And I know some people were saying they were having some difficulty getting their second dose. But again, that's when they said that if you've gotten your first dose, you should be getting an email saying to come get the second. But yes, definitely get the 2 for it to work. Definitely work.
Get the 2 for it to work. Well, thank you, Reverend Coker, for this information to help us to better understand not only the vaccine, but how to get vaccinated. How is COVID-19 testing going in the state of Arizona?
The testing is going great. We have pretty much, you can go anywhere in the state of Arizona and get testing right away. And I'm not even hearing any complaints anymore about the response time in getting your results back. So you can pretty much get testing anywhere you want. And again, the numbers are high again because of all of the holidays and people getting together. When the weather's nice, even though you're outside, people have a tendency to let their guards down and not have their mask on. And Again, this is not the time. You need to keep your mask on. You need to stay 6 feet apart. You need to wash your hands constantly. Have hand sanitizer constantly. Just be vigilant on being safe. And again, I know some people that tell me that they're been as safe as they could possibly be, and then they still contracted the virus. So you just have to be very, very vigilant and very careful.
Yeah, I am one of those. I was being as safe as I could be, and then still wound up contracting it. And there have been some events as of late. I think it was I saw on Facebook the GOP party got together here in Arizona, and I look at the photo and I'm like, okay, that is a super spreader event,
Right.
And you never know who you're next to, where
Right.
they've been, what they've done, not trying to make you paranoid, but just to remind you that you've got to be careful for yourself, where you go, what you do, and how you govern yourself in the space that you're in. Hand sanitizer, masking up, physical distancing is still the notion of the day. And until we hear otherwise, it's going to remain the status of the day. Yeah. And you can get COVID-19 testing here at FIBC. We've been doing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2. You don't need an appointment. You can drive up and fill out your paperwork and get a COVID test and have your results back in 72 hours. So don't stop getting tested. And even if you've been tested once, don't think you don't need to get tested again. If you're interacting at the grocery store, and every one of us goes to the grocery store, if you're going out, getting a test is not a bad thing.
Right. And we test at my job once a week, and I usually test every 3 to 4 weeks, just because, you can be asymptomatic and you could be carrying it. And so I just test every three to 4 weeks just to make sure I'm safe. Because I don't want to be that one carrier, because again, I'm trying to be safe, but I'm still working. I try to stay away from the grocery stores. I try to get as much delivered as possible, but there's times when I have to, go out to a store or something. And I still test. I would say, again, test every once in a while. If there's someone that doesn't live in your household that's around you, wear your mask, even though you're in your house, because you don't know who that person, even though they're your family member and you think you may know everywhere they go, you may not. So just, again, be safe. Be safe.
And don't be sensitive. So if you go somewhere and someone puts their mask on and you think, I know I don't have COVID, you know what? You don't know what they go home to. You don't know if they have an underlying condition. So we need to, as my father used to say, take our feelings off the palms of our hands. Put on your big girl panties, big boy drawers, whichever works for you, and stop being sensitive about it. It's okay. You put your mask on around me and I put my mask on around you. It might mean that I love you enough to take care of you, even if you won't take care of yourself. And for those of you who are watching in other states, check your state's website, because I know in California, you may not be able to test as regularly as we are in Arizona. So check out what your state's protocols are for how frequently you can get tested. You were getting ready to say something, Sister LeBay.
And I was just going to say, even after you get your first dose and even after you get your second dose, still be vigilant. Just don't put your, don't just start relaxing. I would say until the CDC tells you don't have to wear mask anymore and you don't have to do all these protocols, I would continue to do it, because again, it's just being safe, and everything is so fluid. I've said that before. Everything is so fluid. Everything changes so quickly. So I'm just, people at my job were like, "Oh, I just got my second dose. I'm good." No, please continue to wear your mask. Please continue to, be vigilant, because I want to come out of this. And I think as soon as we all take it seriously enough and do all the things that we can, everybody gets vaccinated, the sooner we'll be, done with this.
I agree. And those are great words to end this portion of our conversation with. Thank you so much, Reverend Coker. This has been great advice, great help, a great way to help us help ourselves. So help yourself, follow the science, get informed, and get vaccinated.
Yes.
Thank you, Leveda.
Thank you.
Hi, Tandy. Welcome back. You are becoming a standardized regular on my show.
I know.
But we love it. I love it because the last time we spoke, we were talking about you getting your first vaccination shot. We have you back because you have had your second vaccination shot. So let's start. So what day did you get your first vaccination shot?
I got my first vaccination on December 29th.
All right. And tell us how you felt after that shot, just a snippet reminder of that encounter with that first shot.
Just had a really sore arm, a little bit of fatigue, but that's it. Sore arm, fatigue, and that's it. I was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard people say they've had much more. Which vaccine, remind us again, was it Moderna or was it Pfizer?
Pfizer. So I had the Pfizer vaccine. The Moderna, I have heard lots of different symptoms.
Yeah, it seems that the Moderna vaccine has what seems to be stronger side effects. And let me remind everyone again, like I said earlier when I was speaking with Reverend Coker, that these symptoms are considered normal when you get the vaccine, that you might feel a little sore, you might be fatigued, you might be just a little queasy. It's your system kicking in to create antibodies. It means that your body is working right.
Exactly. That's exactly what it means.
So that's really fantastic that your side effects were minimal. And so second vaccine, tell us about that.
So I got my second vaccine on Tuesday, or Thursday, sorry, this Thursday, I got my second vaccine. Got it done in the morning. Line wasn't too long. Still same procedure. Everybody was still out there, the National Guard, the fire department, the nurses, the police department, everybody was still out there. It was still very organized. I got my shot in my arm in the car still. And then I waited.
Same arm? Wasn't it like a swap or anything like that?
Nope, same arm. And then again, I just waited in the parking lot after my second shot for 15 minutes.
And any side effects from the second shot?
No side effects from the second shot.
Arm is sore. Arm, no, nothing like, even like the first time?
The arm is sore, but not as sore as it was the first time. The first time was indeed like super sore. I was like, don't touch my arm. Don't even come near it. Like it was super sore. This time it was sore, but not as bad.
I am curious, how did you get in line to get your second vaccine? Did they email you? Did you have to schedule? Tell me about that process.
Yeah, because a lot of people had different processes for that. And actually I've got a lot of phone calls from people that were really anxious because they had not received anything about their second. So when I left the first time, they said that I would be getting an email saying that they would email saying that this is time for you to schedule for your second vaccine, and then you schedule the day and the time. And so I got that email probably about a week after the first one. And then just same process, choose the time and day, and then was ready to go.
Did you have to go back to the same location or did you have other options?
They didn't give me another option. They just gave me the same location that I had before.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to change the date because everybody were getting the Moderna and they were having different side effects. I was like, oh, I'm getting the second one. People have said the second one has side effects. I was going to change it to a Friday so that way I would be at home on the weekend if I
Yeah.
did have any side effects.
Yeah.
But they said they didn't have any open January appointments left over. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep it where it's at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was no difficulty getting the
No,
first vaccine or getting the second vaccine,
no, no.
and no
I'm
wait.
really surprised. Because
Well,
you hear how other states are doing with their vaccines, and I just have not heard that for Arizona. It's been really slim, slim issues, and just
right,
free flowing. So it's
right.
just interesting.
Right. And even in this discussion, I would advise people that we're not trying to say that there is a preference between Pfizer or the
Right,
Moderna vaccine. It might be that we just don't have talked to anybody who's had the side effects with Pfizer. So please
right,
don't walk away from this episode thinking that there is one vaccine is easier on the body than the other. That is not any
right,
information that we have. This is just what we are hearing from people who have had them, but we haven't heard from everybody. So please,
right,
please, please don't
right,
start trying to get in for a preferred vaccine. If you can
right.
get
And
in,
I
get
have heard people have some side effects with the Pfizer too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Everybody's body is different.
Right,
Everybody's going to respond to medication differently.
right,
So you always have to take that with a grain of salt.
right.
If you were going to give anyone, I asked you this before, I am going to ask you it again. If you were going to encourage someone regarding the vaccine, how would you encourage them?
I would still say do your research
Yeah.
so that you are comfortable with your decision. But at this point in time, I would say everyone that I've seen and taken it has been doing well. There's not been any big, huge concerns. Again, I think we're finding out more and more information about the research behind the vaccine, who was included, and what that looked like. And so I would say still do your research, but I would still say it's much better to get the vaccine than to get COVID at this point.
Yeah. And did after you got your second vaccination shot, did they give you any other warnings or precautions or anything about how you should govern yourself now that you've had both vaccination shots?
No, that information wasn't given. It says it in the pamphlet that I got the last time that I just keep handy with me, but there was no information given. It was just more so of filling out that card that you get, making sure that both the vaccine 1 and 2 were on it, and then uh, making sure that you were good to go before you left the facility.
And did you feel like all of the data that you gave, because I'm sure you had to register some sort of way, just like anybody else who has to register to get the vaccine,
Mhm.
did you feel that your data was insecure? Have you gotten any spam like emails or anything like that
No,
related
no, I
to your
haven't.
health?
I haven't gotten anything. I think I got something from the Arizona department just letting me know the updates on like who's open for the next group, which is nice because then my mom's here. She's new to town, so I let her know like when it's time for her because she's in that 65 plus.
Yeah.
Um, and then they just remind you that if you're having any different symptoms or anything like that, to report it to the CDC so that they know what's going on. Because if you think about it, we're all just giving the CDC information about how the vaccine's going. They've had those studies, but now that it's going out to the majority of the public, they want information if something seems different for
Right.
anybody. But
And
that's it.
that is really necessary information
Yes,
with the rollout
yes,
of this vaccination. If you have an adverse effect response that you think is a little strange, calling your doctor, calling the
yeah,
CDC. Even though we've talked about how you're going to have some side effects, potentially going to have some
mhm,
side effects, your body. And
right.
if it is out of the ordinary for you, if it is out of the ordinary of feeling a little flu-like, it
Mhm.
doesn't hurt to pick up the phone and call your doctor because you want to make sure that you are doing well.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Well, Tandy, thank you for showing up again. I am curious, do you know anything about, or have you heard anything about getting your son vaccinated, for example? Anything
So
about that?
nothing yet. I just read an article about Pfizer is doing a study with 12, I think it's 12 to 18-year-olds, and seeing what that rollout may look like, but it's not anything definite now. And he's ready now that he saw me get the vaccine the first time. He's like, when do I get mine? And I'm like, not yet,
Never
not
known
yet.
a child who wants to get a shot, let alone an adult, but a child. That's really fantastic.
I know. Seeing how he was so scared with the flu shot, but I think having the firefighters and the police officers out there made it fun. But yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about it. I am going to talk to a couple of the physicians at work this week. I just read an article too that said that they've seen a rise in COVID in children, and so I haven't heard that before, and so I just was gonna check in with some of the pediatricians that I work closely with to see if they've seen that too. But other than that, I haven't seen anything about kids getting the vaccine just yet.
Right.
I think they want to make sure that all the adults
all the populations that are at risk,
right,
older populations, I think that's why they're counting it down. And really, by the time we kind of get through those, we'll know more about if and what adverse side effects, so they can let a parent be aware and be advised about it.
Right.
So
and then I would think that too, they would probably, kind of do how they're doing with the adults. Any kid who has any major risk factors like severe asthma or anything like that, I would think that they would then go that route. But yeah, we haven't got any information yet about that just yet.
Yeah. You said something. You said that your son, John, might not be so afraid because he saw the firefighters and the police out there. And so that's kind of encouraging to think that if your child is in the car and you see all of that around you, because I would be just kind of like, The fact that he was comfortable says something, I think, to us as parents and grandparents and guardians, that they're really trying to make this a good experience for everybody.
Right.
Trying to make it a good experience for everybody, so you don't come away traumatized. God knows, Black people, we have been traumatized
enough.
Praise the Lord. We don't need another traumatizing event in our lives. Well, Tammy, thank you so much for joining me again. And maybe when they roll out to young people, I'll have you back, get your son vaccinated. But thank you, because I believe you are helping us to have the information that we need so that we can really make an informed decision. So thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, another great episode of From Surviving to Thriving. Again, I need to remind you that these two episodes, although recorded on the same day, they are pre-recorded. So you're watching this, and in a week's time, information could have changed. So please be in touch with the Arizona Department of Health. Go to their website, the Maricopa County website, all of the websites related to the COVID-19 vaccine, so you can have current information. We know in February that more sites to get the vaccine are going to be opening up. So please, please, please listen, do your research, look at the science, pray, and schedule your appointment. That's my prayer, that you'll schedule your appointment, because my goal is to see you healthy, safe, and whole when we get through this. Let me pray with you. God, I thank you and I praise you for this informative conversation. I thank you for what Levada brought to the table about how to get the vaccine. And I thank you for what Tandy brought to the table in how her body has responded to the vaccine and the ease in which she was able to get both of her doses. God, I pray for the person who's on the wall, on the fence, struggling. I pray that you would speak. I pray, God, that they don't get the vaccine because Pastor Karen said to, but that they are comfortable in the decision that you are leading them to. Help them, God. I pray for someone who's gotten the vaccine and they're having some of those side effects and they're worried, concerned. I pray, God, that you would give them wisdom about how they should conduct themselves and how they know their body. God, give them wisdom if they need to call their doctor. Give them wisdom, God. I pray that you give them comfort. God, I continue to pray about the rising number of COVID-19 infections. Somebody's in the hospital struggling, God. Some family today is mourning, God. Somebody's at home having just tested positive, God. Somebody's walking around oblivious to the fact that they are asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, and they could potentially be infecting others. God, I pray comfort, I pray healing, and I pray wisdom. Would you, God, be God in all of this? Speak to our hearts and our minds so that we can be a better people because of it. Thank you, God, for all of the resources that you have given us so that we can be healthy and whole. I love you, God. We do. I praise you, and it's in Jesus' name that I do pray. Amen. God bless you. Thank you again for joining me on this last episode talking about COVID-19. Mind you, if things change, we'll be back discussing it some more, because the more you know helps you to make the right decision for yourself. God bless you. Don't forget to click subscribe to the FIBC or to my subscribe to the FIBC or to my YouTube channel so that you can always get notified of when we go live, or follow FIBC or myself on Facebook so that you know when the next episode is up. God bless you, and I will see you next week in From Surviving to Thriving. God bless you.